You too can smell manly if you listen to Real Talk with Rick Glaser. Hey, thank you, Mr. Rocky Balboa, for doing that kind intro. Appreciate it. And guys, if you didn't know, this show is brought to you by Affordable Dentures. Over 400 locations nationwide. And they're not just confined to dentures. Guys, go check them out. Look them up if you need any dental work done. And we favor the mothership, the centralized location in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And there's someone not from New Mexico, but from New York, the incomparable, real Rick Glaser. Rick, how you doing, my friend?
Good, Joe. Let's get started.
There we go. We're running a little behind, so let's get started. I'll tell you what. Yeah, did you enjoy the event this weekend?
Yeah, what the Zordo looked great. Zordo Ramirez looked great. He beat that Gumanian, and it was a good fight. It was very, very good fight, unanimous decision, but a real solid fight. A lot more infighting than I expected by Zordo. He really looked good, even on the inside. Normally, his outside is his game, and he looked great on the inside too. He really, really looked good. Really, really looked good. One, I think, like 118, 110. It was nice.
Well, I tell you what, and you were right. Boy, he forced him to fight the Armenian. That was tough. That was a good fight.
Yes, it was. Very good fight.
And there it is. And I'm sure, though, that you found out what happened in the other events this past weekend. So before we start talking about your favorite event, the one that was on the high price pay-per-view, let's talk about Friday night's events with top.
I think you meant to say overpriced pay-per-view, but keep going.
Yeah. Well, that is without a doubt it was overpriced because let's just be honest, right? Let's just be honest. This was a regular Showtime main event, right? In the co-main and the main event, it was a regular Showtime subscriber main event.
Right. But there's no Showtime boxing anymore, so that's right. That idea went out the window.
So it's on pay-per-view out of necessity. Now, would you like to explain why it's out of necessity, Rick? Because I tried. And people just didn't believe me.
Because Heyman, PBC don't have a TV deal, and their only deal is putting it on Amazon Prime and is a revenue sharing that they get the pay-per-view revenue. So and the gate and whatever sponsors they can bring in, they have no guarantees of any money. It's all on the if come.
That's it, guys. So it's no different than going and seeing a club card and purchasing a ticket.
All right.
That's it. And that's why it's on pay-per-view out of necessity. So what Steven Espinosa has been talking about, that's completely not true, is it?
What's he been talking about?
That they have a deal and they're going to, well, we're working on announcing between 12 and 14 dates this year.
Listen, shame on you. If you believe anything Steven Espinosa says, shame on you. Listen, the only time he's not lying, when his mouth's moving, the only time he's not lying is when he's got food in his mouth. Okay? Other than that, he's lying. If his mouth is moving, he's lying.
Oh, boy. Well, like I said, I like Steven. I haven't talked to him in a minute, though, because of, anyway, let's pass on that. I don't want to explain that, but well, I tell you what, it's time, and we'll talk about the Top Rank event. We'll talk about the high price pay-per-view, or in Rick's words, the overpriced pay-per-view this past Saturday, out of necessity, guys. But it's time for right now.
Maybe, just maybe, it's time for Rick Glaser's Twitter watch. Bing.
Oh, boy. Thank you, Teddy. Here goes. And this was on March 30th. Let's see. Let's pull up the entire thing so we can, because this is a mouthful. At 8:51 a.m. And you said this, Rick, on Twitter, said, it's widely speculated around the boxing business the winner of tonight's Tszyu Fundora fight will give up the WBO title so as to avoid Terrence Crawford and still defend the WBC, and instead fight a totally shot Errol Spence. If the Tszyu Fundora winner pulls this stunt, you can always voice your disdain by not buying the pay-per-view for Spence versus the winner of tonight's fight. As you have a vote in this, use that vote to help stop the Al Heyman PBC chicanery. Rick? So it looks like you were a prognosticator, and yeah, I heard the same thing as well. Because who shows up ringside at the event this Saturday? But Errol Spence Jr.
A 250-pound Earl Spence.
Oh boy, yeah, he looked like he had been eating some frijoles, some bean and cheese tacos. But I tell you what, he goes into the ring, and then he starts talking about fighting the winner. Jeez. So
they're so predictable. You can see PBC coming with bells on. They're just so predictable.
But Rick, hasn't Tszyu, weren't they actually talking even before the fight? And a lot of people were worried that Tszyu was looking past Seabass Fundora, not realizing and not really, just appreciating all the attention that he was getting. Was it true that he was indeed talking with W.A.W, Tszyu's management, before this event?
I don't know that. I don't doubt it, but I don't know that to be a fact.
Well, I tell you what, let's look at this, because yes, the WBC has now notified the team of Sebastian Fundora.
No, WBO notified him.
Well, I'm sorry, my apologies. Paco Vercel.
Yep.
Their offices notified Sebastian Fundora, letting him know that they were indeed enforcing their mandatory challenger status.
Right. And it's as super champion, so that means it's 75-25 on the purse split. In favor of Crawford.
Is that what the bylaws say, that it's 75-25?
Yep.
For Crawford, really?
Yep.
Then in that case, he very well may take this fight if they're willing to do it.
75-25. Crawford gets 75%. So there you go.
So even though Fundora is the champ right now,
right?
There is a chance that could happen, because I was thinking if Tszyu did it, if Tszyu won, there's no way in Hades that fight would happen because of the purse split.
Mm-hmm.
So in your mind, you don't think there's any chance that this fight actually happens, Rick?
Well, it may happen if Fundora himself wants it to happen. Sampson and Heyman, that crew, the patients, Heyman, the PBC, and Sampson will want him to fight Spence. So
obviously that's why they asked him in the ring, right?
right. But I think maybe the kid doesn't listen, and the kid says, "No, I want to fight the best." I don't know that, but that may be the answer right there. I don't want to downplay the kid. The kid's got heart, and the kid's a great kid, and I don't want to downplay the fighter himself. So,
absolutely.
So we'll see.
Well, I tell you what, Sebastian Fundora, he sure did show a lot of heart, hung in there, and boy, he got busted up in the process, but he wins a split decision victory. What did you you didn't even see the fight, did you, Rick?
No, I saw the highlights.
Yeah.
So I can't give you who I thought won the fight as far as the scoring goes. It was a good decision or bad, but I did see highlights of the fight. And, it was a good fight. It was some action. It was a good fight, no question.
So yeah, it could have gone easily either way, in my opinion. It could have. And so I didn't feel strongly one way or the other, but I did feel strongly about this. When he got that huge, horrid gash on his head.
They should have waited to the fourth round and stopped the fight.
That's it. They should have
actually said that he couldn't continue. And he would have won. That was complete amateur hour.
Yep.
Yep.
That's absolutely right. And look, yeah. In your mind, have you ever seen anything like that? On a championship fight, a corner make a super blunder like this?
I don't. If I did, I don't remember it. This one I will remember. I've seen bad gashes like that before, but not not where they let the fight go beyond when it should have. Most of the time they're stopped. You don't even question it.
Yeah.
So,
look, I will say this. Thank you, Tszyu, and thank you to his corner for actually. And once again, I don't have a dog in the hunt. I didn't care either way who won. I just wanted to see a great fight with a lot of drama, and that's what we got. So thank you, Tszyu, for making this a lot more interesting than it would have been had you stopped. But that wasn't the smart thing to do.
No.
So what's next for Tszyu, sir? If you were one of his handlers,
I get rid of everybody and start over again. Everybody that failed him, the trainer, the manager, everybody. And if there's no written rematch clause and they don't honor the quote verbal one, I would get rid of everybody. That's negligence on their part.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yep. From what I was told,
everything what they did was very, very unprofessional. No written rematch clause.
Yep.
The corner doesn't stop the fight. I mean, just everything they did was bad. There was nothing good.
Yep. From what I was told, there is no rematch clause. I know there was a little question about that after the fight, but yeah, from what I was told, there is no rematch clause. So let's go to the big main event. Oh boy. And Romero loses his dubious distinction of WBA titleist at 140 pounds, and he looked like a bobblehead in the process.
Yeah, he was falling all over the place. He was falling all over the place in the first round from a non-puncher.
Well, I tell you what, could have fooled me on Saturday night. Boy, he bopped him around almost like, I hate to say this.
Yeah, well, I had heard Rolly had trouble making the weight, and he was probably completely drained. I mean, he's a fun. He's a bum as a person. It just shows you what he is.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't go to that. Well, this is your show.
I would
say what you want.
I would.
Well, I tell you what. I think he completely underestimated Isaac Cruz. He completely dismissed him as being
he
not
must
very
have,
good.
because he could have fought Garcia for millions and millions, and he goes and fights this guy for fucking dog food. So he must have thought he was going to win easy. That's why he did it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just can't figure it out.
And I will say this. I was waiting for you to bring that up.
Well,
did you see Oscar and Bernard gloating?
What's that? I actually tweeted about it.
Yeah. Oh shoot! Here we go. We're still on this. We're gonna be. Did I see that tweet? Did I overlook it? Yeah, I guess I did. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Let's go to that then. How's that brilliant decision Rolly Romero made? Foregoing a huge money Ryan Garcia fight April 20th, instead fought Pitbull Cruz last night for a fraction of the money and got KTFO'd. Hashtag boxing. Look, I have no problem with that. He's merely being loyal to the only promoter who is willing to give him the time of day. And that's the God's honest truth since he turned pro. But yes, monetarily, in terms of his own sole proprietorship, yeah, that's pretty stupid. Well, look, we all knew that Rolly didn't know how to fight, right? You told me that even.
Right.
So what's next for Isaac Cruz? Do you see him fighting Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney winner?
No, I see him fighting Tank, keeping it in-house and doing a rematch. That was a competitive fight the first time. That warrants a rematch. I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that, and that's a smart decision for everyone involved.
Yeah.
But I tell you what. Let's go to the next one, sir. And you said this, March 30th. I just watched history, the first ever Mexican World Cruiserweight champ. Congratulations to Gilberto Zordo Ramirez, Oscar De La Hoya, Eric Gomez, make a war, and DAZN Boxing, hashtag Mexico. Tell you what's the future look like for the very entertaining and surprisingly comedic Gilberto Zordo Ramirez?
I don't know. I mean, he's got a good future. He should fight once this summer and once in the fall. 2 more fight times this year. Why not?
Yeah, he should stay as active as he possibly can.
Yep.
Because yeah, we've all seen what happens when he's inactive. But yeah,
Right.
I really like Zordo. He's a funny guy, shockingly funny guy.
Yeah, he
So
is.
guys, content creators, if you're listening, reach out to his publicist. He's a really good guy. Also, reach out to his publicist and get Zordo on your podcast. He's willing to do any and all interviews, and he's very entertaining. And he
Yes,
actually
he is.
surprisingly speaks English very well.
Yep. Decent. No question.
Yep. Here's on again on March 30th. You were busy, brother. I love this one. Oh, geez. Many are questioning me, saying Errol Spence is completely shot. That determination is not made from Errol losing a fight to Terrence Crawford. My assessment of Spence being completely shot is based on the deliberating beating over 9 rounds that Spence took from Crawford. Fighters so rarely come back successfully from an extended beatdown like that. Remember Davey Moore, Michael Grant, and many others. Completely shot after beatdowns, respectively, from Roberto Duran and Lennox Lewis. Many fighters have come back from one-punch KOs, including Tommy Hearns, Lennox Lewis, and others. That was not the case for Spence. Errol took a serious beating. I unequivocally stand by my statement that Errol Spence is completely shot. And I repeat, Errol Spence is completely shot. #boxing. So do you see him beating Sebastian Fundora if they
No.
go that route? I can't see it either, sir.
No, he's gonna get destroyed.
Yep.
Seriously, he's gonna be. No matter who he fights at that at a good level, at an A level, he's gonna get destroyed. It's just gonna be. He's gonna be cannon fodder.
Yeah, and you can see that event taking place later this year if they still have the Amazon Prime deal. You can see that taking place this year at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, can't you?
Well, sadly, yes, but hopefully no.
And there it is, guys. There. Oh, geez. And then we go to Friday night events. And this was posted by you on March 29th. Incredible fight. Oscar Valdez stops Liam Wilson in the 7th. That is why we watch. #boxing. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Top Rank. That was a brilliant main event, brilliant card, actually. So, it's amazing. Do you think Oscar Valdez gets tired of proving his detractors wrong? Rick, are you there, sir? Hello, Rick, are you there, sir? Let's see. Is something wrong? No. We're still live on the air. I was thinking someone's wrong with my San Antonio internet still. Rick, are you there, sir? It looks like we lost Rick for a second. So let's take that opportunity to remind everyone that this show, once again, is brought to you by Affordable Dentures. And we're going to go to our friends in the chat. First one on the board, Refugio Garcia. Kangaroo versus the giraffe. There you are, Rick.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Just flipped off.
Brother, that's all right. We're just saying hello to our friends in the chat right now. Our brother Big from New York coming on before my bedtime. Yes, sir. And he goes, I listened to Slick Rick and bought me some cell phone boxing from Woke Disney. It's your fault, Rick. Hi, Chihuahua.
Disney, so ESPN Plus. That's nice.
Yep. Guys, and you all should support the networks and streaming platforms that are furnishing these TV dates for us. Guys, we should support these. If you are a fan of boxing, don't steal it. Financially support it. My brother Khalid, salute to you, my friend. Thank you for supporting Big Rick on this day. Also, our brother Andrew Charles, salute to you, my friend. Also, my brother Pounds. Yeah, Tim should go to Manny Robles. Rick, what say you?
Yeah, that would be a bad choice for Manny Robles, his buddy McGirt. Somebody that's got time for him. None of these trainers that don't, that train too many fighters and stuff like that.
Well,
He
that's what I
needs,
was. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
yeah, he needs somebody that knows the rules and can teach, can bring his game up a little bit.
That's why I can't understand why Rowley wanted to go train with Ismail Salas and he left Coach Bullock. Like he's getting all the one-on-one time he wants from a very hungry young trainer. And I understand Ismail Salas is a great trainer, one of the best in boxing, one of the smartest by far.
But Rowley's a complete moron. So there's your answer.
I was going to say, talk about not getting one-on-one time. Salas's tiny gym is always filled, and he always spreads himself very thin. But you can't argue with the fact that he has become very quickly the master Yoda within the boxing circle, right? Within the boxing community, he is so smart.
I'm not questioning that the Salas's abilities. Don't get me wrong, but why you're winning fights with and you're doing well with Bullet? Why would you leave? A fucking nitwit.
Yeah, I don't understand that. And once again, he doesn't need to do this. He's a very successful entrepreneur, and he does this. And do you realize he had never taken a dime from Rolly Romero?
I didn't know that.
Amazing?
But
yeah.
No, I didn't know that. But let me just say this to you, okay? Rolly is a fucking nitwit. That's all there is to it. He makes more mistakes. He makes more mistakes than in a week that I've made in a lifetime, and I'll be 66 this month. This fucking dumb.
Well, I tell you what. It's funny. After the fight, someone stuck a mic in his face, and he said, "You know what? I would rather be sitting on a beach getting oral sex from 2 escorts rather than being in a smelly gym full of a bunch of guys. I'm retired from boxing." He announced his retirement. What do you think of that?
That'll be till he's broke.
Well, I will say this. Speaking of nitwits, how did you feel when Robert Garcia publicly made this announcement that he's willing to train Errol Spence Jr. in preparation for Sebastian Fundora? Like, in your mind, would you actually do that if you were a trainer and he just stiffed his last trainer?
No, I wouldn't do it. But Robert, I'm going to explain something to you about Robert. Robert's a very unique guy. And he doesn't do things he's got a lot of money, and I'm not counting his money, but he's very successful. He's got a lot of money. He's got a little promotional company, as you well know. He's got a grocery store and meat market in Riverside, and he's very entrepreneurial. And he's doing it out of a good gesture rather than about the money and about being a trainer and stuff. And he feels I can help this guy. I want to help him. I like him. He's a different kind of guy that way. He's more of a folksy, down home type of guy. And I have nothing but respect for Robert Garcia because of that. Well, because of his overall abilities, yes, but because of that in particular, I know where he's coming from when he says it. He says it out of sincerity that he cares and he wants to help the guy. It's not about having his hand out. It's not about making money. It's about trying to help somebody that needs help. And you got to respect that. You got to respect that of Robert.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Robert is a real dude. And speaking of which, June 15th, back in San Antonio, his entire band of prospects will be crashing the Boeing Techport Arena. And I'll be there live once again. But look, I'm just saying, out of respect for, and once again, you'll never catch me challenging the integrity of Mr. Robert Garcia. He's a friend of mine, and I really like him. But
and mine too. I mean, he's a friend of mine. But
isn't that like boxing community etiquette? Like, think about this. He just stiffed Derek James.
He doesn't look at it that way. You're missing something. He's not. Remember, he's not the one that was stiff, so he don't look at it like that. He looks at it like, oh, the guy needs help. And you got to remember, Robert was a fighter. It was a world champion himself. People seem to forget that.
Yep.
I know, IBF champ.
Yeah,
Okay, at
IBF
30.
champ at
No,
35.
no, 30, 30,
Was
30,
it 30? Really? You're right. It was
30.
30. My apologies.
Yeah, you don't have to apologize. Just admit you were wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
No,
I'm
no,
wrong about those little
no,
things
no.
often.
I'm kidding you. Busted balls. But truthfully, he was a fighter, and he's got that mentality. Hey, this guy's a fighter. I want to help him, and I know what way you're looking at it, and you're not wrong. But Robert doesn't look at it like that, and I
Yeah,
and I have to defend Robert in this area because Robert is a very very nice, gracious guy, and if he wasn't, he wouldn't be saying this. So it's done out of complete sincerity.
yeah. You know what? This is happening way too frequently, though, Coach. I mean, though, Rick.
Rick.
This is happening way too frequently. These fighters shortchanging these trainers when they
Well,
devote all of their
well,
time,
well,
especially one who's
well.
been with him when he wasn't making money.
Well, correct, but that's not the point. The point is that truthfully, that it's happened to Earl's done it, and Earl's the culprit here. Listen, I'm no fan of Derek James. Okay, I don't even know if you can train a dog to piss on a fire hydrant. But
Yeah.
the fact is, he's got money coming. He needs to be paid.
Yep. Yep.
You
So
know,
here's like, can we talk about that for a second though? Because from what I
what?
heard, he paid him his 10% of the allotment that was given to the Nevada State Athletic Commission on fight night, fight week, right?
Right.
And we all know that that's not the real amount they get paid.
Right. Well, he needs to get paid in the real amount.
How
Not,
can you like? How can anyone justify that?
yeah. You know what Spence is doing?
Yep. What Spence is
No,
doing.
you can't. You can't. He's just a piece of shit.
Like
You know?
I'm in shock that he's even in contention for getting this fight with the newly crowned unified 154-pound champ Sebastian Fundora. Like honestly, I'd tell Spence to go kick rocks until he finishes paying Derek James.
Well, I mean, that would be what most people with common sense would do, and with any respectability. But you're talking about PBC; it's the lowest form of life over there.
And of course, you can't expect the Nevada State Athletic Commission to intervene, or
No,
the WBC, or the
no,
WBO, because they were
they're all
told. Once
yeah,
again, they were given the amount that Derek James was paid off of. So they're
yeah,
not going to intervene.
right.
And so, yeah, this is a really big dilemma. And I'm sick and tired of seeing it in boxing. Because
Yeah,
once again, these guys, like a guy like Coach Bullitt, never took a dime from Emmanuel for most of his fighters, except for the superstars, never took a dime from his fighters.
yep,
Never. And you know
yep,
what? These guys devote all of their time and their effort, and that's time away from their families or other projects.
yep.
Oh boy, that's just sickening.
Yeah.
Sickening, guys.
I don't. I'm not going to mention the trainer's name. Okay, he's not even alive anymore. But I don't want to mention his name. But he said something nice. But it's a family thing, so I'm not going to mention who the fight trainer was. But once said to him, he was an older man at the time when I met him. I said, "Do you have any regrets about your from boxing? But in boxing?" He says, "Yes." He said, "I never really saw my kids grow up. I got divorced, and I never had time to spend with my kids. I was always on the road with the fighters and training camps and stuff, and I really never got a chance to see my kids grow up and be a proper father." Now,
Yep.
thankfully, his kids ended up to be pretty good human beings, and it didn't adversely affect the kids, but he felt bad about it.
Yeah.
So, you sacrifice a lot.
Yeah. That's it, guys. And look, it's time that these trainers start devising, talk to their attorneys, start devising contracts for all of your fighters. Start doing it.
Yep.
You've got
Yep.
to protect yourselves because that is ridiculous. All of the time that Derek James sacrificed for Errol Spence Jr. And as soon as he
Yep.
makes his career high payday, by far, he gets shafted and just effed in the drive-through, man. I'm sick of seeing it. But anyway, that's it. That's all we're going to talk about. For right now, let's finish saying hello to our dear friends in the chat. My brother Bruce Cass, watching Jazz and more. And guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to Big Bruce. Thank you for being here, sir. And thank you for supporting Rick always, sir. Elicer Feliciano, welcome to the show, sir. And thank you for supporting Rick on this day. Big Luke says, yeah, he took one of those $800 hour phone calls. Rolly Romero. Chingo. So, excuse me. We also want to welcome the boxing scientist. Welcome to the show, sir. What's up with you, man? And thank you for supporting Big Rick on this day, my friend. So I'll tell you what, let's move on now to another. You ready for this one?
Maybe, just maybe, it's time for Rick Glaser's Twitter watch. Bing!
Thank you again, Teddy. We appreciate it, brother. So yeah, I love this one, man. I've been waiting to talk about this one, sir. And why indeed. And this was written on March 28th at 12:21 a.m. You said, why does ESPN allow Stephen A. Smith to even talk about a sport he knows so little about? And that sport is boxing. ESPN is well vested in the sport through their top-ranked content deal. But they allow Stephen A. Smith to talk about boxing, and Stephen A. doesn't know jack poop about the sport. Where's the content quality control? End quote. Why do they allow him to talk about it?
It's like me talking about football or basketball. I know nothing. I mean,
You know
come
what?
on. I mean,
Well, look, I can understand from ESPN's perspective, right? He's a big mainstream guy that talks about every other sport, and it seems to bring a lot of attention to those sports. I understand the logic behind it, but when he's constantly spewing negativity and nonsense, yeah, he's basically serving the same purpose as the now fired Teddy Atlas. Right?
Okay. So let me run this by you. If he was to say something like, oh, such and such as Canelo and Munguia are fighting Saturday night. I'm looking forward to this fight. Should be a great fight. Blah, blah, blah. And I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it or something like that. Or I look forward to the fight, or this is going to be very interesting. I got no problem with that. But don't come out with your opinions on this and that about you know nothing. You don't understand the political circumstances. You don't know the financial restraints that certain fights can't be made. This guy went and talked about Crawford and fucking Ennis. You can't make Crawford Ennis. There's not enough revenues.
Yep.
For both guys. Ennis can talk as much as he wants. He knew that fight wasn't getting made. He'd want fucking $7.5 million. The other guy would want $22.5 million, $20 million. Well, that's what I'm saying to you. It can't be made. So and Ennis knew it couldn't be made. It's utterly ridiculous. These kind of things are utterly ridiculous because of the fact that there's not enough revenues. But this fucking idiot Stephen A. Smith don't know that because he don't understand the business, and he's talking about it like he does. And then the casual sitting at home thinks he knows. He don't know shit.
That's absolutely right, guys. And guess what else Rick Glaser just described? Not just Stephen A. Smith. The great majority of the morons who espouse rubbish on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Guys, just like Stephen A. Smith, you guys are all, when you hit that public social media, you're all ambassadors for the sport. Okay? Be more responsible when you open your yap or type something, guys. Ching, gal. Honestly, I'm sick of it. And you're absolutely right, Rick.
Certain fights can't get made because there's not enough revenues. Now that doesn't mean Sir Excellency over there in Saudi Arabia doesn't have the money. But if he doesn't want the fight, then you can't make the fight. Period. So
that's it.
They gotta forget about this shit.
That's right. And with that said, Rick, that's the only reason why I believe that PBC is not interested in making, or neither, and they're going to advise Sebastian Fundora of that. Yeah, Crawford's going to want too much money, and you're going to want too much money to fight Crawford. We can't afford that. So here's Spence in a career high payday at AT&T Stadium. That's what I believe.
Yeah, and I don't think that sells because I think that his reputation is so tarnished after that beatdown. I don't think you can make that fight.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe that is wishful thinking as well. But I can guarantee you that Crawford and Fundora would be a huge money loss. That they would want too much money, and it's just not that kind of a fight. Like realistically, Rick, how many fights can you make with Terrence Crawford right now that would suffice his demands at this time? I can only count one right now.
You could make him and Conor Ben. You could make him and Chris Eubank. You could make him and Canelo. You could make him and Fundora right about now. You could have made him and Tszyu. These are all fights that are financially doable.
Yeah, I like honestly, I'll have to see it to believe it if the Fundora fight gets made. That's just my opinion, though.
No, that may be because of the pressure from Samson and the PBC side. Yes, but as far as financial, that can be made. That fight can be made.
I don't know if they can afford it, my friend.
Well,
we'll see, though. We'll see, guys. We'll see what happens because honestly, there's a reason why they even announced Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. They have to see what happens with Canelo.
Yeah, they don't have the money.
Yeah, everything hinges, guys. So this 12 to 14 dates, no, that's horseshit, guys. That's horseshit. PBC is all in with the Canelo fight, and if that is a bust, then it's OOB. They're out of business.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you're all broken up about that, Rick. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Losing sweat. You're losing sweat, sleep, and everything else. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Chihuahua. Well, man, let's hold on. Let me pull up the last tweet we're going to announce. Because I love this segment. This is really fun. Oh, boy. Let's go to... All right, here it is. Speaking of Conor Ben, you said this on March 27th. Wonder what boxing's biggest hypocrite, Sir Eddie Hearn, is saying about this latest and justified slap to Conor Ben, as Hearn is always defending his fighters that are caught using PBDs. And this is in response to the news that Conor Ben's hopes of fighting in the UK are dealt a blow as the British board and UKAD win appeal against decision to lift his suspension following positive drug tests in 2022. And that was on March 26th. So what does Conor Ben do? Because he doesn't draw the same crowd and he looks like snot fighting in Nevada.
Well, put it this way to you. I don't know if the Nevada will let him fight anymore because of the fact that now he is under suspension. Before, he wasn't under suspension. He was under appeal. So I don't know if they'll let him fight anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, JD Spades, welcome to the show, sir. And yeah, I already knew this before that. I knew this before the fight, actually. But Samson Lukowitz, good guy, was on the Boxing Voice podcast this morning. He mentioned that Crawford is asking for $15 million for the Fundora
How
fight.
much? How much?
$15 million. 15.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that at all.
That fight's gonna flop, brother. That fight's not worth that much.
Okay.
That's my opinion. I will see, though. Let's hope it gets made, though. I would love to see Crawford compete in the ring, period. That's why I'm saying I don't care. Let's just see him compete. I mean, look, do some of these fighters, do they have to start rolling the bones and gambling by taking a percentage of the pay-per-view? Putting the onus on the fans.
Well, they put the onus on themselves that they can't sell these motherfuckers.
That's my point. Should they start gambling on their own careers rather than putting everyone in a no-win situation and a surety and a guarantee that they're going to lose money. Everyone involved except for the fighters. Because I'm sorry, inflated purses, that is a huge problem within our business.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they need to do something.
Mm.
You know, I think they need to do something. There's no question.
Speaking of doing something, Ryan Garcia looks like he's back to form training with Canelo's watchful eye. It's nice that they've actually mended the fence and are buddy again. Do you think it's going to positively affect ticket sales? And do you have a latest update on ticket sales?
I don't have a latest update in ticket sales. I never even ask, to be honest with you. I do have people that ask and they tell me, but I didn't get any reports today. They were a little slow as of last Wednesday, but they'll be picking up. It's New York City.
I hope so. I hope so. This is a big event. And obviously you stated on last week's show that, yeah, they couldn't help where they put this event.
No.
That couldn't be helped. Oh,
no.
Hold on. Boxing Scientist has a question for you, Rick. He says, Rick, how come when Crawford asks for money, it's okay, but when Canelo does, it's pricing himself out?
I never said Canelo pricing himself out.
Not you. He's speaking about some fans. Rick, look, correct me if I'm wrong, but 150 million is a far cry from 15.
Right. Exactly.
15 is reasonable. 150?
Right.
Not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Refugio goes, what is Victor Conti's beef with Hearn? He doesn't seem to like Eddie. Go ahead, sir.
Hearn's a hypocrite. Hearn's a hypocrite. That's what I said all along. Talks out of both sides of his mouth. He talks out of so many sides of his mouth. He's got an octagon for a mouth.
Yeah. I've never heard that before, brother. Oh boy. I still can't believe. I'm reading through these. Yeah, and I still can't believe that Errol Spence would do that to his friend Derek James. I still can't believe it.
Yeah. Well, that friendship is gone.
Well, yeah. Oh gosh, that's just too bad. That's terrible. But I'll tell you what, Rick, is there anything on the upcoming boxing calendar that you'd like to talk about or like to point out?
Not really.
Yeah.
Just looking. I'm looking to get. I'm looking forward to April 20th. I'm looking forward to May 18th. April 20th, Garcia and Haney. I'm looking forward to May 18th, Fury and Usyk. I'm looking forward to June 1st, the big fight with Bivol and Beterbiev, and I'm looking forward to all the other fights everybody else are looking forward to. And I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to Oscar Collazo's fighting the tough Nicaraguan on June what is that, 7th at Turning Stone. And Xavier Zayas the next night is fighting in Madison Square Garden and against the former world champion Patrick Teixeira, former WBO junior middleweight champ. So I'm looking. Those are the fights I'm basically looking forward to. I mean, maybe there's other ones I'm looking forward to, but those are the ones that I'm pretty much looking forward to right now. I'm looking for some career advancement from some of the fighters I've mentioned. The bigger fights, obviously, we're all watching for that reason. But I want to see career advancement from the younger guys that are moving up. I'm always looking forward to that.
Yeah, this week. Speaking of which. From DAZN, this is care of Matchroom Sports. On April 6th, I really like the main event. Richardson Hitchens versus Gustavo Lemos from Argentina.
Yeah, that's a good fight. No question about it. That's a good fight.
Yeah, this guy's actually going to force Richardson Hitchens to fight.
Yep, I agree.
Love it. And then also on the card, Diego Pacheco, Mark Castro, Gal Yafai. It's going to be a very, very entertaining card. We'll see if they actually sell tickets in Vegas. But I really like the way May is showing up, sir, or shaping up. It looks spectacular. Like you just stated, you've got Canelo versus Munguia. Great fight. What do you think, though, about Virgil Ortiz, Golden Boys man, saying that Jaime Munguia, you're going to see Jaime Munguia is going to prove to be stronger than Canelo in the ring on fight night. What
A
do you
lot
think of
of
that?
people, a lot of people think that actually. He's not
Mhm.
alone in that. A lot. I've heard that from a lot of people, and I don't see that. But is it possible the younger man's stronger? I don't know about that. I don't see it, but a lot of people are telling me that, and I just said to myself, "Geez," I said, I don't know what makes them feel that way, but whatever."
I will nonetheless, guys, look forward to a great fight. And then on Tokyo, thank you, Bob Arum. ESPN, Noya Inoue versus Luis Juiced Up Neri in your 12-round main event for the junior featherweight undisputed championship. I've seen a lot of
Well, let
fans
me
picking
let me
Neri, but
explain.
go ahead, sir.
No, I'm not picking Neri. No way.
Yeah.
Um, let me explain. He wasn't juiced up for the sake of being juiced up for his strength. He was on something that makes you lose weight and maintain your strength. It's a diet, more or less a diuretic. That's what I was told, and
Okay.
that's the reason why they're letting him fight over there. Even though he was on a suspension, and they lifted it because it was not a performance enhancing drug in the sense that it made him stronger. It just made him make the weight and without working out as hard.
Very
So
good.
that's what I'm told. I don't know if that's true. I never looked into the type of steroid it was, the type of performance enhancing drug. But I'm telling you, that's what several people told me, like three different people actually.
Very
So
good. Very good. So, and then we've got Vasil Lomachenko versus George Kambosos Jr. for the vacant IBF
mhm.
lightweight title in Perth, Australia, May 11th. Thank you, Bob Arum. Once again, it's on ESPN.
Yeah.
Is this a final payday for the very gallant George Kambosos?
Well, if he loses, it will be. If he wins, it won't be. So let's see what happens. You know, I listen. We don't know what either fighter's got left. They've both been in some tough fights.
That is
So who knows
true.
what either fighter's got left? You know.
That is true. That is true. And then obviously on May 18th, we've got Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury in your 12-round main event from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And yeah, I can't wait for that. And then obviously on June 1st, the long-awaited Dimitri Bivol versus Arthur Beterbiev, June 1st. That looks like it's going to be a fantastic card. But once again, guys, there are fight cards that look fantastic on paper that are real stinkers. That's why we should always support boxing regardless, guys. Come on. And so Dimitri Bivol, Arthur Beterbiev. Have you heard anything from either camp, sir?
Not a word.
Neither
Not a word.
have I. It's shocking. But I can't wait to see how that plays out. And also June 29th, Juan Francisco El Gallo Estrada versus Jesse Bam Rodriguez in Glendale, Arizona. Chingao, brother.
Yeah, it's a little far down the road. We had a lot of fights before then, so let's concentrate on the ones coming right up rather than that far out. My God, June 1st is a long way out yet, 2 months. So, you know,
Oh, here
so
it is. Here it
that's
is.
3 months out.
I was wondering when this was going to come up. So, Double L, welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting Rick. And he says, what's Rick's thoughts on Nonito and Rachel coaching Michael Zarafa and getting him KTFO'd in 2 rounds? Didn't look like he was prepared at all.
Listen, I'm no fan of Rachel's. I think that Donaire himself is an all-time great fighter. I'll be voting for him as soon as he gets on the Hall of Fame ballot. I'm an elector in Canastota. I just, she leaves a lot to be desired. She thinks she's in the fight game. She's a zero. She's a zero. She's a zero with a pair of high heels on.
Yeah. Look, I love Nonito. I love Rachel. And look, keep in mind, guys, he's a new trainer. And guys, give him time. How long do you think it took Eddie Futch to become Eddie Futch, guys? Because I just had a discussion with this.
At birth?
Yeah. I mean, oh, stop it, Rick. Chingo.
You like that one?
Oh, you bastard. It's pretty good. No, but look, guys, look. It took every great trainer time to hone their craft. And even then, guys, remember, never forget, a trainer is only as strong as the horses that he jockeys.
Yep.
That was from Emmanuel Stewart. I think too much emphasis is placed on this trainer of the year, and he's not a good trainer because his fighter lost. Guys, go ahead.
Yeah, you're right about that. Listen, it's 9:00 and I'm cutting out.
Oh, very good.
In 40 minutes. In 40 minutes, the Yankee game starts. And in the meantime, as I had a pizza delivered at 8:00, right when the show was starting, and I haven't even looked at the thing or touched it yet. And I want to eat before the game.
Well, enjoy
it's
the
not
game.
your fault.
Enjoy the pie. And I tell you what, my Reds are already playing the Phillies, and I'm going to be watching that as soon as we. But guys, I would be remiss if I didn't. Well, once again, guys, thank you to Rick Glaser for always gracing the air and letting us share the air with him every Monday night. Thank you, Rick. And also, guys, prayer warriors, if you could please keep my brother William Walker in your prayers. He's currently battling for his life in ICU.
That's not related to that guy Brandon Walker, is it?
Hell no.
Okay. Okay. Good night, Joe.
Have a good night, my friend. Thank you for being here, my brother. Yep. God bless you, man. Guys, on behalf of the real Rick Glaser, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to Warwick Boxing. Have a great evening, everybody.
Can smell manly if you listen to Real Talk with Rick Glaser.